Hi friends, welcome back to Dysfunction Exposed. This is season 5! I'm excited. Can you believe? This is the most consistent I've ever been in my life. I'm going to celebrate it every way I can. So welcome back. How have we been? I hope we've all been alright. I was going to tell you at the last episode of last season about moving abroad, but I'm going to have to put that on hold for a second because a lot of shit went down in my life and I haven't finished with what was going on prior to that yet, because it dawned on me that there was a huge chunk missing, and hopefully we'll get round to the repping era at some point in this season, but it might be season 6. So please don't hate me. Sorry, there's parts of my life missing sometimes. I've got a trauma brain, okay? So let me just rewind. Because it dawned on me when I was thinking about things that happened in my life that I was significantly, pretty poorly. I had to go in for surgery when I was about 19, 20. And it was my first surgery. Never happened to me before. Always been relatively healthy. And I got gallstones. My God. I have never felt pain like it. I swear to God. The best way to describe it is, it feels like a heart attack, but it's a heart attack that moves. I've never had a heart attack, so maybe it doesn't. But that's what I'm putting it against. Because it's like that tight chest pain, but it's just moving around. It ain't pleasant. It is not pleasant. And it was planned by the hospital for a time that my dad was out the country. Did he decide to come back and aid me through this surgery? No. No, he fucking did not. Was my mum there at this point? No. She just... I don't even think she knew if I had my gallbladder removed. Mum of the year. Well done. Savage. I'm on one. So this is how it's going to be for today's episode. My bad. So I'd gone into the hospital and I'd had the keyhole surgery. I'd had my gallbladder removed. And I remember, no one prepped me for what surgery was going to be like. I'm asking questions to the doctors and stuff because they know. But if you've never been through surgery yourself, you don't know what it's like when you're going to wake up. If you're going to wake up, is that how it's going to be? Because I'm fat. What if I don't wake up? And there's no nice way to put this, as horrible as this sounds, I was almost like, I couldn't give two shinies if I woke up or not. What will be, will be. Fate has its path. I am on it, and I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the ride. And if that's what happens, who's going to give a shit anyway? Because that's the savagery and the truth of it all. Who is going to give a shit if I perish? Because I'm looking at my family tree and no one's there. If I were to die on that hospital bed, my mum and dad wouldn't have known. Papa was in a different country. And mummy dearest is doing whatever the fuck she wants to do. So I'm going through these massive experiences on my own, making what I can of it, doing my best. I'm just a girl doing my best. And I vividly remember when I woke up, it was so bright. For a split second, I genuinely thought I'd gone to heaven. And then I thought about all the bad shit I'd done and I was like, no, that can't be factually correct. So I reevaluated the situation, but I tried to throw myself up because I was like, oh my God, am I dead? And the nurse was like, Emma, you really need to calm down. You really need to calm down. But there was no familiar face there. Because usually that's what you'd wake up to. You'd wake up to someone being like, you're okay. It's okay. You've come out, like, all is good. Surgery went well. Yada, yada, yada. Support, generally. And again, I didn't have that and I shit my pants. Not literally, but figuratively, I shit myself because I thought I had died. And I'm glad I didn't. Now I can say I'm glad I didn't. But at the time, I felt very differently about that experience. Excuse me. I felt very differently about the experience because, like I say, in the grand scheme of things, after everything I've gone through, it was just who was in my corner? Who was there? Nobody. And now I'm at a point where I don't need anybody. That's the biggest secret. Don't need anybody. And it's difficult to put yourself in that position. And I think this is why my story sits so differently. Because generally, you'd have friends with you. You'd have someone. And I didn't even get that luxury. And I know I can't be the only one. So where are my fellow feral individuals who have just been left to their own devices? Holla. But that was just one little section in what was going on during that time. And whilst office life was continuing in the background, there's aspects of shit from every angle, as I've told you before, because I wasn't very well, to be honest. I can sit on that now and be like, wow, I was poorly. And it when people say to me now, do you still think you're mentally ill? Because the label would call me mentally ill, and I say no. Because my perspective is so different to those situations. Even though I have been through a lot, it doesn't define me. It made me a fucking champion. It made me ultra resilient. It made me hyper aware. It gave me all of these skills that not many people can say they have. And I do, and that sets me apart, and I am happy to own that now. Back then was a very different ballgame. But I remember being on a night out when I was about 19 years old. And it's fate and where your mind will wander from one interaction and the knock-on effect that will have. Butterfly effect, madness. So I met a girl in a toilet, as women do. We meet women in the toilet, it's very much, oh my God, I love your dress, I love your shoes, very good, yada, yada, yada. And that happened to be the conversation I'd had with another woman. I don't know who she was, so she was a stranger to me, because I don't remember who she is now. Or maybe she just wasn't that relevant in the grand scheme of things. Sorry if that's the case. But she told me, after I complimented her on something she was wearing, that she got it off a wishlist. And I was like, what is this? What is this sorcery? What do wishlists do? Tell me more. So the basics of the Amazon wishlist are you add all the shit in the world that you want, and other people can buy it for you. So that was me down a rabbit hole. How do I get into this? How the fuck do I get into this? Bear in mind, I'm coming from poverty. I don't have a lot. I don't have nice brands. I can't really afford nice brands. I can't even afford to buy my favourite perfume. So it would really fucking help if someone could do that for me. That would be grand. Because the money I am getting, I'm blowing it. To be honest. I probably could have afforded my favourite perfume if I wasn't a dick with my money. And again, no one taught me how to do that. So it took me longer to get here. Okay, we'll allow it. So, this girl was fast and loose with the information. She was like, yeah, all you need to do is go on Twitter. There's bare dirty old men on there. They'll just buy you shit for sexy pictures. So I was like, okay. I've sent a nude before. I'm not scared of this at all. Sounds like easy job to me. Easy transaction. So I delve a bit deeper and I get into it and I start to get a following. And when I say at its peak, my Twitter account had 50,000 followers, that is no fucking word of a lie. And I don't even know how it got to that, because I was fat, but I was cute. But I was also severely fucking depressed. Like, I think people were buying me shit for pity at that point, not because it was this weird, sexy transaction. No, it was fucking pity. Well, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but that's the way I'd see it. So I got this wish list, and parcels are coming to my family home. And my dad's going, "You're fucking skint. Why is shit constantly coming to the house?" Well, A, I'm skint because you keep taking half my fucking money off me, you tight bastard. And I'm not paying for them. I can get nice things and I don't have to pay for it. And that concept blew my mind. It was like the best kept secret at the time, because I knew there was women out and about shagging guys, being messed about. Like, I was always the single one. Other people were getting into relationships and starting to form those like lifelong connections with people. And I was like, nah, I'm just going to do me. Just do what I want to do. Because I wasn't particularly interested in relationships at that point either. I think because all of my examples were so thoroughly broken, I just had no fucking interest. And that's a blessing. I can look at that as a blessing. I never got into a situation with someone who potentially could have added to the list of abusers, because I stood so much on my own shit that I never needed to have someone else to tell me right or wrong. Like, I don't need you to do that. I don't, even if it means I go without, I'd rather struggle on my own than have to factor someone else in and it just be wrong and the dynamic isn't right and it doesn't work for me. And no, I'm not going to do that. So I started getting all these lovely little things. And at first it was like bits of lingerie. Will you take a picture in the lingerie for me? Yeah, sure, no worries. No problem. And then it was, I'd get bottles of perfume. And on my birthday, I'd get extra treated. I'd get gift cards and I'd get random shit and I'd get makeup and perfume and all of these lovely things I was putting on this list. And I thought, how far can I push this? Feral behaviour. How far can I push this? So one year, because I was doing this for a fair few years. Like, you don't get 50k overnight. Let's just put it that way. I was doing this for a while. And when I eventually got to like the height of that platform for me at that time, I was like, I really need a new TV. Someone buy me a TV. And then it was, I want my extensions. There's 400 quid. Someone pay for my hair immediately. Now people would do this. Men, not even people, men would do this. They would do all these things for me because they got a shiny little picture of me with my arse out or something equally as vapid, to be honest. And that's the game. That is the depth of it all. It's very transactional. And I didn't realise at the time how much it bothered me. I was going because I wanted the nice shit. But then at the same time, I was like, there's more to me.
Like, why can't you see me as a human being?
Because you didn't put yourself in a position where they were going to see you as a human being, you dickhead. That's why I made the mistake. Okay. Oh, funny. But getting into that whole wish list scenario catapulted me into sex work. Because as soon as you start falling down that rabbit hole and you start seeing how easy it is, oh, it's fucking easy if you let it be. And it wasn't long before I was selling batches of pictures for money. I was selling videos. I was selling meets with me. Yeah, because bit of a dickhead. I was very impulsive. I was doing all of these things that really I had no concept of what situation I was putting myself in back then. I was just lapping up the reward and it was short-term gratification. And at the time, it made me feel a bit better, self-esteem wise. And long-term, it ruined me. But as this popped up, Mummy Dearest returned. Told you this. Peekaboo, she's back. So while this was happening, let me just sit on this for a second because I'm not entirely sure how it's going to come out of my face. And I want to make sure I do it in the most respectful way, should we say. So, part of my dysfunction with that lifestyle was because I was informed when I was around 18, 19 years old that my mother in a past life had been a sex worker. Sweet. It's okay for her to do it. Of course it's okay for me to fucking do it. That was my logic. Again, I was broken. I was quite mentally ill and I was seeing that as okay. And it was not okay. It was not okay. But here she was. And she didn't know the depths of what I was doing because I was very good at keeping a secret. I was really fucking good at keeping a secret, actually. Like, I hid most of my life. And there's a lot of things that I even tell friends now when they go, wait, I didn't know that about you. When you've known me 5 years and you think you know everything. Oh no, there's something else to add to the list. So Mummy came back into the scene. Mummy. I don't know why I called her that. She ain't my mother. She came back onto the scene, anywho. And she moved into a property before she'd even got to my nana and granddad's house. Before that even erupted. She moved into a property and it was huge. And this is just one woman. And she's fucking 4 foot nothing. Why is she in this massive property on her own? I didn't question it. Didn't question it at all. How very naive of me. And I'm thinking, what is she doing here? But I'll never forget, there was such a smell of bleach constantly. Now, here comes genetic mental health issues because my mum has got OCD. She's got bipolar. She's got her own issues. And I'm not going to take that away because that is real and that exists. But what I didn't know at the time is that smell of bleach was not her OCD. It was adding on to the anxiety of the OCD that she sat fucking running a weed farm. I didn't find this out until a lot later on in life, by the way. She was running a bud farm. And she didn't tell me until years later. Years and years and years later. My mum, she was hustling, bro. She was hustling. And half of me is like, fair, you did what you needed to do and I can respect it and appreciate it because you've got to do what you've got to do. And then on the flip side, I'm like, you could have been a better mother. And I think sometimes it's easy for me to think and say that because I don't have kids. I deliberately decided it wasn't that I wasn't sexually active. I could have very much got pregnant along this line, but that's never happened for me. I've always been very aware that I was keeping myself safe enough to not bring a child into this fucking world, because I am a mess. I am a mess. And I knew I was a little bit of a hot mess when I was in it. But looking back at it, you go, fuck me, I was a mess. A deep mess. But that was just another thing to add to the list of, what the fuck? I find out you're a sex worker, then I find out you've been running a fucking bud farm. I found out later on in life that my dad has 2 extra kids. Like, what else are you going to throw at me? Because I don't know how much more I can fucking take at that point. I didn't know I could take much more. But there is so much more. But that is all I'm going to give you for season 5, episode 1. This is Dysfunction Exposed. I'm Emma J, and I will see you next time.